Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the Fourth Estate. We're grateful that once again you're here at Moving Trangirai House to hear what we have to say. The historic election took place yesterday on the 30th of July 2018. We're very excited that our people came out to vote in their thousands, in their hundreds of thousands. This is a reflection that our people are pushing and crying out for change, for transformation, for opportunity, for prosperity, and for hope. So we want to thank and express our indebtedness to the thousands of Zimbabweans that braved the cold, that braved the wind, that braved the pain to come and vote for change and transformation in their country. We are, however, concerned about the challenges that our people faced. These included long, winding queues and, in some cases, deliberate go-slows by election officials, particularly in urban centers. In some situations, they were missing polling stations, for instance, in places like Epworth, resulting in sometimes extra-legal arrangements being made. There were also challenges around people being turned away, a high number of people that were being turned away because they were not located at the particular polling station that they confirmed. I can testify to my own situation where my name could not be found at the polling station that I was registered and that I had confirmed during the confirmation exercise in May of 2018. So despite these challenges, our people braved the frustrations, braved the temptations, braved the anxiety, and showed their resilience in voting in an extremely difficult situation. This sense of patriotism and hope for the future displayed by our people should not be betrayed by anyone. We have now received from our agents across the country results of the 2018 election. The results show beyond reasonable doubt that we have won this election and that the next president of Zimbabwe is Advocate Nelson Chamisa. These results were extrapolated from V11 forms that in some cases were posted outside polling stations in compliance with the law, and in some cases they were handed over to our agents, candidates in compliance with the law. We will now hope that the Zimbabwe Election Commission will follow its constitutional and legal obligation defined in the Electoral Act of formally announcing the result that is consistent with what we have gathered through our own paro voter tabulation process. As you know, we set up command centers in every constituency, command centers in every district, command centers in every provinces, where we were tabulating our own data. And as I've said before, we are very grateful to the people of Zimbabwe for showing faith in our alliance and showing faith in Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We are, however, seriously concerned about evidence of interference with the people's will that is being displayed by the authorities. So, for instance, as I'm talking to you right now, there is a deliberate delay in formally announcing the results. So ZEC is taking its time in transmitting results from polling stations towards and to constituency centers. And this delay is totally unacceptable, particularly in places like, in even centers like Harare, Bulawayo, Mutare, Gweru, Masvingo. The results are not being moved from polling stations to command centers. So again, if I can give an example of Harare East, they've not yet announced the result. They've not yet announced and pushed the results to the command center at Oreo Boys High School in Chisipiti, despite the fact that we completed the entire voting process around 3 a.m. Last night. We know that it is in this period of delay and uncertainty that merchants of chaos, that bishops of electoral fraud will do their own things. So we are calling upon ZEC to immediately comply with the law and start making the formal declarations at constituencies as is required by the law. Number two, we are also concerned by the denial, the failure to produce V11 forms as is required by the law. As I'm talking to you now, the Zimbabwe Election Commission has failed to produce 21% of the V11 forms. The V11 forms, for those who are not familiar with, it is the form that summarizes everything that would have taken place at the polling station. We as one, what each respective candidate has won, how many ballots have been cast, how many ballots have been rejected, how many ballots have been spoiled. So it is a critical election tool and the result tool consistent with the right of the citizen to receive information codified in section 62 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. So we have written to the Zimbabwe Election Commission asking them to produce these V11 forms. We are also aware that other citizens, in particular the ZESNI, the Zimbabwe Election Support Network, and other private citizens are in the process of trying to launch court applications to assert the right to the full production of the V11 forms. We are also aware of the massive generation of fake news that our opponents in ZANU-PF, the former ruling party, are employing. We are aware that they are employing some Romanians who have been used in notorious African places, which I shall not disclose. Their leader is a man called Lucien, and they are at the center of production of fake news. You have seen some of the deliberate fake news. I was just shown a tweet where someone alleged that I was crying. I don't remember the last time I cried. With a face like this, I don't think I can cry. So we don't accept fake news. We've also received very confidential reports that General Chiwenga has issued an order, a directive for the assassination of President Chamisa and myself. We don't accept that. We don't accept that. So we are aware that people are trying to prevent and stop the people's will, to interfere with the people's will. We will not accept that. As we have been saying before, we will protect this vote. People of Zimbabwe have waited for so long, patiently. They've resisted the temptation of taking up unlawful and constitutional means of achieving change. So I hope that the merchants of chaos, the merchants of abuse, will desist from the abusing the people's will by interfering with this election. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Chamisa is claiming victory. President Mnangagwa is claiming victory. One of you isn't telling the truth.
Well, the people spoke. The people spoke. President Mnangagwa is unelected. The people spoke. You saw the massive people that turned out at our rallies, our meetings. We have received the data, you are seeing the result, the trends. So it's quite clear that this was an election for change, for transformation. This was an election for young people. 69% of our people are below the age of 35. Of the 5.4 million people that registered to vote, 81% are between the ages of 18 and 51. So this is an election in which generations are asking for change. President Mnangagwa has been in the system for 50 years. He's been with President Mugabe for 50 years. He's been in government since 1980. And he has nothing to show that he has done as an individual for the cause of progress and change. On the contrary, he has been associated with all the ugliest sports in our history. Ukurawundi 82 to 87, the violent land reform program, the preemptive coup carried out by the military in 2008. So you cannot, there's no competition at all. It's only in a place like this that we're sitting here without the results. In a normal country, Nelson Chamisa will be being sworn in right now by the Chief Justice, Chief Justice Mike.
There's a question at the back? No? Come here.
Mr. Biti, you're alleging that...
Can I have your name?
Okay, my name is Anna Chibanga, I from Zimbabwe online. Mr. Biti, you're alleging that the junta government might be trying to rig the election. Will you be having enough evidence to prove this when you go to the courts? Do you have evidence?
Where are we going to the courts? We've won the election. We've collected the results. The results show that we have won. We are now daring and asking and pushing ZEC to announce the results, because this election asks and demands that V11 forms are produced. We have got them, save the 21% that we don't have.
That's a complaint. That's a complaint. That's why I'm saying
what is the complaint?
The complaint is that you're alleging that something is cooking, something is happening that you don't like. So in the event that happens, will you be able to prove it?
I have said, and I think you're not listening. We have collected results, because the results are posted outside polling stations, consistent with Section 54 of the Electoral Act. Results are given in V11 forms to candidates and agents. So we have collected those results. Those results show that we have won. That's not a complaint. That's fact. So we are now waiting for ZEC. The law says ZEC is the only body that announces results formally. So we are now waiting for ZEC to make the formal announcement. I've also said, however, there is evidence that there are people who want to interfere with our democratic process. And we are saying to those people who want to interfere with our democratic process, don't do that. Don't plunge Zimbabwe into chaos. That is what I've said.
1, 2. Right here.
My name is Perfect Shongwane. I wanted to find out if ZEC is going to announce results that are contrary to what you have collected or not in sync with what you have collected. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, remember the results we have are actually theirs, because they are based on V11 forms, which are given to agents. Yeah, so in the mysterious position that they announce something which is not theirs, then of course there's a problem. There will be a massive problem. We will not accept that. We will protect our rights, our vote in the various means and ways that are allowed by the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
Through Mr. Spanda,
Can I have
French for his name, Mr. Biti, you allege that General Chiwenga has instructed, he has made an instruction for your assassination and that of Mr. Chamisa. What sort of evidence do you have to that effect?
We cannot disclose our sources, but it is fact. We have to protect our sources.
Maybe just to say what. Sorry, my name is Sophia Maswat. I'm a freelance journalist. Maybe just as a follow-up to that question to say, what is the way forward with regards? Have you made a police report? What have you done with regards to the assassination of terrorist allegations?
It's pointless making a police report in our context, but we are informing our structures. We are also informing the international community. So that is actually happening now as I'm talking to you. these things have happened. An assassination attempt was made only last week on Friday, so this is nothing new. President Chamisa has survived so many assassination attempts, including the vicious assault at the airport on the 18th of March 2007, so this is nothing new.
I'll take the last batch. One. Is that a question? Two.
Some reports are saying that Chamisa actually won the presidential race, but that the MDC has lost the parliamentary elections. Is this also fake news? And also, just the Priscilla this morning said that she has not received any complaints from the MDC. So when did you make these complaints to her? Or have you actually sent as the MDC?
Yes, yeah, we have, the first question is very important. We have a strange situation in some areas, particularly Mashingo, where President Chamisa is overwhelmingly beaten Mnangagwa. But then you have a situation where our candidate has lost. So Mashingo is a good example, which is strange, because voting tends to follow the party. It's again another instance of the shenanigans that we think are going on behind this scene. We are studying that situation, and I've just come from a meeting where we were, doing the algorithms around these figures, but they are disturbing because they are not consistent with the normal electoral trends. We have filed a written complaint to ZEC. I don't know, I don't care what Chikumba is saying.
The last two.
The last time in 2008, you faced not the same situation, and this is not the same thing in people's hotel in 2008. Announcing that you won this election, when ZEC tries to realize that, you are prepared to face the consequences tonight.
We've said it very clearly, we are prepared to die for this election. And when we say it, people think we're joking. Even this threat from Chiwenda, we're not afraid of it. But we have won the election, we're very happy, we're very excited. I see gloomy faces. We have done an impossible thing under impossible conditions. We've won the election. President Changirai died on the 14th of February 2018, but under remarkable circumstances, Advocate Nelson Chamisa steered the ship to ultimate victory. So we're very excited, we're very happy, and I hope that our people will be throwing parties in the villages and in the townships. We've won this election.
Yes, at the back.
Peter.
Hello, Peter from Daily Telegraph. I've just spoken to the people doing some of the spreadsheets of the results, and they tell me there is no way you could have all the results from your polling agents because they haven't got them. They can't do it themselves, and they're tabulating it now.
Yeah, Peter, I've said we don't have V11 forms in 21% of we don't have. But what we do have, we've got records from our agents. Remember, Peter, despite the production of the V11, counting actually takes place and the result is actually formalized. So the role of an agent is actually to record that result. So we have a result recorded, but we want it to be validated by the V11. So yes, we do have those results. It's only someone who hasn't run an election who can say that.
No, these are experienced people. They say they have not got, you have not got the results.
I've answered you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice day. We will have another press conference tomorrow. Asante sana.
What time tomorrow?